on your radio, online and on your mobile. This is ABC Gippsland.
25 to 8. Good to have your company. Thursday morning. Still a pretty cold one today and partly cloudy with patchy morning fog about the ranges and the slight chance of a shower near Wilson's Promontory and near zero chance of rain elsewhere. And just light winds and no warnings. So pretty simple. The big story of today is Scott Morrison calling the next federal election. So he has turned up at Yarralumla at Government House and had a chat with the Governor-General, and it's all going to happen. We're waiting on a press conference that we're expecting about 8 o'clock this morning, so in about 25 minutes to fill in the blanks there of when that date is going to be. And then it's just into the election campaign. I don't know how you're feeling about that, but I am asking you this morning what you'd like to see out of the election campaign. There are lots of different submissions, requests of what we could see out of this campaign. What do you reckon we should see? Text through 0467 842 722, or you can give us a call as well, 1300 295 222. Education will be a big issue in the campaign. And on that, the latest NAPLAN results are up on the My Schools website. I'm wondering though, will you be jumping on and checking out your local school's results? Well, Senior Lecturer in Education at Fed Uni at Churchill, Anna Fletcher, is here to help us understand those results. Good morning.
Good morning, John. How are you?
Very well. Now, what should people be looking for when they jump onto the My Schools website?
Well, as I have indicated before, I really don't think that people should jump onto the website. I think they should go and visit the schools and go to parent-teacher interviews and have a look at what the kids are working with by engaging with homework and so on. But if they do go to the My School website, I think what they should look at is the growth from one NAPLAN to another. So that means from Year 3 kids up to Year 5, so it's the same child, and to see the growth. And that's, the same information actually comes home to parents in their NAPLAN results.
Right. So are you advocating a boycott of the website, or are you kind of saying it's like having a balanced diet? You look at the My Schools website, you go and see the school and the teachers there, and then you also talk to parents and students as well?
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair way of putting it. I'm just questioning why we put so much funds into having a My School website. And I'd like to point out, I'm not actually against NAPLAN. I know a lot of people are. I think the NAPLAN itself is quite a good snapshot for teachers and for parents as well to see how their kid is travelling on that particular day. But to publish those results on a website without necessarily prompting engagement from parents, I think that's really problematic.
So if parents look at those figures on the My School website in isolation, what's dangerous about that?
I think it's just too simplistic, because what you're looking at is the cohort, so you're not getting obviously not your individual kids' results. And unless you know the background and how teachers are working, I mean, the schools I work with work really, really, in a really targeted manner of making sure that the kids develop. So we talk about growth from one year to another, to really make sure that the teachers are maximising on the time of instruction. They're really explicit by using, for example, research to make sure that they're using very effective methods of helping kids develop the essential skills and knowledge that they need to. That's also tested in the NAPLAN. So I'm guessing, long story short, really engage with your school. That's my key message.
Yeah, and you said you're not against NAPLAN testing. Why is that?
Because I think it's actually quite a valid test when you look at it. Well, I should point out, a lot of people don't necessarily think so. I personally think it's quite a good test. It tests some higher order thinking. It's a good tool for teachers to see another dimension, if you like, of how the students perform in that test. It's a really rigorous way because it's nationwide, so it gives a bigger picture than just the school results. Teachers work very closely with their colleagues, generally speaking, in comparing and moderating, so checking, okay, this is how I interpret that this kid is going in writing, for example. What are your thoughts? But to have that bigger picture, I think that's where the NAPLAN comes in. It's just another element of informing practice. So I don't think that's problematic, and I think it can be used to improve instruction. But as I said, the problem is when you bang it on a website and leave it open to interpretation by some colour codes without the background information necessarily. And that's even though the website has got indicators of the family structure, because all those things are really important kind of background pictures that also feed in on the NAPLAN results for a school.
Is that insulting parents' intelligence, though, that they can't understand that data or can't interpret it correctly?
No, I think it's actually, I think the website itself in a way is an insult to parents that they can't make sense of what they find when they speak to the teachers and when they see how the kid is going. Why would you need colour coding to work out whether, the school is delivering a curriculum that you think is good for your kid and you can see your child developing their knowledge and their confidence as learners? Do you need numbers on a website for that?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, look, the Boffins would say yes, and this is primary school, so we love colour coding. That's what we do in primary school. You're just to get back to NAPLAN. You're talking about it being an effective test, but is there room for some schools to kind of help their students cram, or just focus on the areas that will be addressed in the NAPLAN and neglect other areas?
I know that a lot of people say, "Oh, my school teaches to the test," and I wonder what do people actually mean by that? Do they mean that they teach literacy and reading and writing? Well, yeah, they probably should, given that it's a school and that's what's covered in the test. Or if it's let's shade the bubble kind of thing, because that's what the NAPLAN basically involves, in kids reading a question, interpreting it, and then picking an answer. Well, obviously, shading bubbles for a year is not going to be very helpful. But if you look at the more inferred meanings of being able to critically think, well, what does this actually mean? What am I being asked to do? Those are really important things for kids to learn. So, and that does require at times really explicit instruction. But it doesn't mean that you do some sort of dummy run for the NAPLAN all the time. So I question whether it's actually possible to coach for NAPLAN. I don't think that's going to make a difference. I think if you are effective as an instructor and you're helping students develop the skills to understand and to think critically, well, then that is probably going to be reflected in the NAPLAN results to quite a significant degree.
Spot on. I reckon some of my worst exam results were when I didn't read the question properly. So if that's the lesson that they're teaching, I think that's valuable. Just lastly, though, what do you want to see out of this federal election campaign? We've had the Prime Minister go to Government House this morning and ask the Governor-General to dissolve Parliament so he can call an election. What do you want to see out of the campaign?
I want to see a trust for teachers. I want to see that the profession is viewed and regarded as actually a profession and not just child mining. I went to a meeting in Melbourne a few weeks ago, and the Shadow Minister for Education, Deputy Minister Andrew Giles and Dante and the current Federal Minister were there. And it was quite interesting to hear them outline their plans for education. And certainly if we look at what the Labor was saying, they would talk about enticing the right people to come into the profession and making sure that they're effective instructors. And I think that's all well and good. But if that means the continuation of tools like the My School website, then I think that is worth rethinking. So that would be something I would encourage Labor to think about. And certainly for the the Liberals, they, at least Dantian, was flagging kind of a questioning really of big tools like the My School website. And I think it's probably time to revisit that.
Fair enough. Thank you for your opinions this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Anna Fletcher, Senior Lecturer in Education at Fed Uni at Churchill, talking about NAPLAN testing and about the My Schools website, because there's just been a data dump? A whole lot of data put on the My Schools website. And some parents really rate that information highly. Others take it with a grain of salt, and as Anna was saying there, it's about getting a balanced diet of information. You have to talk to the teachers, you have to talk to people at the school, other parents at the school, other kids, and take that all into account. And how your kid relates to the school as well, if they do at all. We are talking about that federal election campaign this morning and what you want to see, particularly from a Gippsland angle. So we'll continue that discussion after 8:30.
Myth